Welcome to the Fanatical Elves Show, part of the Elves Network. We are a bunch of wild and crazy Cleveland Browns fans, bringing you all the latest in Browns news. Tune in now. I just love that fade out. What an amazing fade out. Created by none other than Sam Britton up there. Welcome to the Fanatical Elves Show. There is Steve Gill, there is Sam Britton, and I am John Suchan. We are part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of Fans First Sports Network, and we appreciate your time tonight on a Thursday night. I know right now Ethan Greenberg is doing his Going Nuclear show, started a little bit earlier. Some of you might have watched that. We would love for you to come over and watch our show, or you can catch us later if you want to listen to us on Apple or on Spotify. Our show will be out. That's where we make the big bucks. So appreciate your loyalty, being a Browns fan, and thanks. Shout out to Hemisphere Coffee Roasters who shake the hand of the the farmer, not the cougher.
Farmer. They don't shake the hand of the coffee.
Damn it, I can't speak tonight. Hey, let's start with the weather report.
That'll
Steve,
come in handy for a podcast.
Steve, how are you on this wonderful Thursday night? And let's talk weather report because we got to bring the weather.
Well, it was a cloudy day all day. There was some scattered showers. It's like 74 right now. We're going to go down to 61. Humidity's down after
nice.
A couple days of some much needed rain here in Tennessee. So, it's going to be seasonal next couple days. Mid 80s. That's seasonal for September. So
weather report brought to you by
Hemisphere Coffee, where we shake the hands of the coffee bean.
We all need to be a coffee bean. That's what I was told at our school function at the beginning of the year. We need to be more like a coffee bean. Some guy wrote a book that we listened to. He'd had a run of bad luck in his life, was a really good athlete in college, and then went off the deep end, ended up in prison. It came out of that, and he wrote a book called Let's Be More Like a Coffee Bean or something. I don't know if you've heard of that book. It was pretty popular like 5 years ago, I guess, but he came to speak of us. So I need to be more like a coffee bean. So, okay.
Why? You get ground up and get hot water on you, and you disappear and become grounds.
You should know because you've owned a coffee store.
People throw their grounds on the bed, the soil around their roses. So
that's right. They use it to.
I don't want to be a coffee bean.
You don't want to be a ground coffee bean. No, coffee bean.
I don't want to be a normal coffee bean.
Oh my God, we're talking about coffee beans here on the Fanatical Elves Network.
Hey Sam, how are you?
Sam, how are you? Yes.
Yeah, fine. It's cool weather here, and it's not fully. It's still like 85 degrees, but it's definitely not hot anymore. So it's nice. Yeah.
It's getting closer to October. Things tend to kind of shift when we hit October,
next week.
It is cooling down everywhere. Out there in the high, well, you're not in the high plains. You're out there. Are you? Kind of Texas is not considered the high where you are in Dallas. It's not really the high plains, is it?
Yeah, it's definitely not plains. You have to go further north for that.
Right. I mean, we were part of.
You go further north. When you go further north up to like Lubbock and stuff, it's just empty grass fields.
Oh yeah, no, there's nothing out there. When you head out west of Wichita, there's nothing but flat land, and you hit Dodge City, Medicine Lodge. They have a lot of interesting things going on out there. Okay, let's talk about this week. My God, Steve and Sam both did their shows earlier this week. The Cleveland Browns Dog Pound South podcast, and Sam did his Browns breakdowns. Check those out on Apple or on Spotify. And we were all thrilled and surprised by the momentum. I want to give a shout out to Sam for doing the post-game show. Did a great job Sunday after the game. Just thought that was great, Sam. Thank you. And Steve does a great job every time analyzing things all the time and breaking it down so we can all understand it. So, and I liked your point, Steve. You talked a little bit about Joe Flacco being that leader. And even though he looked like a statue and looked like he was 40 years old for most of the game, he's doing a lot of other little things. Steve, what did you think about the game and Joe Flacco?
Well, very first offensive possession, you notice if you notice during the game, they're getting out of the huddle pretty quick.
Mhm.
I think their objective this past weekend against Green Bay was to get up to the line of scrimmage and see what the defense was going to offer as quickly as
Mm.
possible. But during the entire game, he had to get the guys to where they were. Very first play, I mean, somebody would go in motion and he'd go yell, "Stop! Stop! 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 Stop!" or "Get to the
Mm.
line of scrimmage," and all those uh, directions minimized or eliminated pre-snap penalties,
Mhm.
and that's what an experienced quarterback gives you. So, while others on social media and certain chat groups were calling for him to be benched at halftime, I was sitting there kind of going, let's just wait a minute. And the very last pass to David Njoku,
Yes.
Dylan Gabriel would have never gotten him up there line of scrimmage, snap ball with 2
No.
seconds left. I'm
That was
sorry.
a thing of beauty. And I will say this, I'll just add a little flavor to this because I did get the opportunity to be in the press box, which is amazing. I've talked a little bit about it with Joel on his show, What the Elf, but had an opportunity to sit there in the press box, do my story for Northeast Ohio Sports Insiders. It was made, I already said amazing 4 times, but the people behind me, interestingly enough, the group that was sitting directly behind me, they were doing the clock. They were running the 25, 40-second clock. And so they were part of the NFL and they were listening to them throughout the game. And you're talking about getting the plays off. There weren't many times because they would out loud talk, like if it got under 5, they'd go 5, 4, 3, so that everybody was like on the same page. And so that was very interesting because the Browns didn't have a lot of those where they were having to go down under 5. And so that was kind of to your point, Steve. They were really getting things, and there were some times where if they got the play off like at 10 seconds, one of the guys behind me, they would say it's under 12 or something, like we talk about, so I thought that was very interesting to hear how they did the
Nice.
game. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So Sam, initial thoughts about everything, Flacco and the Browns just beating the Packers the way that they did. I don't think any of us thought before the fourth quarter, at least. I mean, when I'll just say this and I'll let you speak, Sam. When Quinshawn Junkins hit those back-to-back runs, and I think I heard Steve talk about this too, those runs of 14 yards and 38 yards, when that happened back-to-back, that kind of gave me a little bit of like, oh, okay. They kind of opened, they got a little momentum, and that's, but still they're down 10-0 with 3 minutes and 40 seconds or 38 seconds left. So, Sam, what are your thoughts initially?
I mean, I personally did not expect the Packers to be beaten by the Browns. I totally expected it to be like 35-7. So I'm gonna take credibility. I was wrong. I didn't expect them to win and win in the way they did either. But I think looking at it, I think everyone was shocked. I really don't think there was many people who truly expected the Browns to win this game. I think everyone kind of had it as this is going to be a bad game, because I mean the Packers were at that moment. I said it before, they were the best team in the league at that moment. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think right now there's definitely going to be the defense is probably hyped right now. I mean, they're probably very energetic, and coming into a game against one of the best offenses in terms of points right now in the Lions,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a tough challenge, but I think this defense is going to step up. I think they're going to come off of this win here where they literally dragged the Browns to a win there. And I think they're going to come against one of the best point scoring offenses. And I think it's going to be a great showing in terms of just entertainment between one of the best offenses point wise and one of the best defenses in terms of just outright one of the best defenses. So I think it's going to be very fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you,
I
Sam?
too thought Green
Steve?
Bay was going to win, but I also coveted was said that something weird would have to happen if the Browns win. And boy, I did not expect that kind of weirdness.
Well,
I
Steve,
really, really
Steve,
didn't.
I think I probably told you guys this off camera, or in a text or something, but I literally had to rewrite not the whole story, but I had written the story during the game while I'm sitting there in the press box and, covered all the angles and stuff and was kind of writing it like, Joe Flacco kind of was stuck in the mud again, but, the defense was keeping him in it and stuff. So I had to change a lot of the intertwinings of what I was writing. So it worked out well. I think I titled the article "A Win That Nobody Saw Coming." None of us saw that coming, but boy, the excitement there in the stadium was just really cool to witness. And here, the other part of it, Steve and Sam, is like while you're in the press box, I've said this before too. You're not supposed to like show any kind of emotion, and and it was so quiet. You've probably maybe experienced that, Steve. I mean, it's like you in these games, and you're not supposed to like. It was quiet. I was just really. I had to sit there, and I had a group from Green Bay that were sitting near me. There was one time toward the end of the game where I leaped out of my chair halfway. I didn't really
Did a Harry
scream.
Doyle? Did you do
I did.
the Harry
I started
Doyle?
to sort of, and I didn't really scream, but I was like, oh, and then I looked around. The people from Green Bay, they weren't staring angrily at me, but they were like, hey, what are you doing there? Like, I was like, sorry, So,
Yeah,
but
if you're a member of the media, I got a pass to be on the sidelines at a Vanderbilt game. And the guy got me the pass, the longtime radio guy. I worked
yeah,
with him when I was a baseball analyst on the local ESPN. And as soon as we walked, he gave me my press pass. And as soon as we walked down there, he goes, now don't show any emotion, no
right,
matter what happens. Don't
right.
show any emotion. I went, okay, I can do that.
Well, and that was something that Lou and Marconi and I were talking about during the pod the other night because, I have the season tickets, but I have this opportunity to go to these games and sit in the press box now, and it's
Woohoo.
like, I'm certainly excited about it. It's just like Lou was saying, like I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could sit there, and because especially in a game like we just witnessed. I mean, there were so many back and forth. That the funny thing is, Sam, you might like this. That I said this in the other show with the 27 seconds or whatever when Green Bay was going to go kick the field goal. I was anticipating the Browns getting the ball back, with 20 seconds. So there was a bathroom right behind me. So I ran to the bathroom and I missed the block. I'm in the bathroom when I hear them say it's
What?
blocked. I know, so I know the one thing. I know. I'm not a real loyal fan, but anyway, by the way, the setup in this press box was amazing. They had a candy bar, like any kind of candy that you'd want. They had a whole bar. So, all
Dang,
right,
I
Candy
need to get a
buffet?
press pass now. Eat
right,
candy and watch the Browns.
Sam. The other
I
thing that was pretty
know.
cool, I liked about it. I thought the Browns. Well, and here's a couple things I was telling Lou, and maybe you heard this already, but the folks from Green Bay, they said that the Browns press box was one of the nicer ones in the league that they've been in. They said that they've been like Miami. They said it's terrible. They said the Bears not very good. Cleveland really does it well. They really had a ton of options, lots of food, lots of TVs, lots of niceness. So, but to get there, they even have like a follow the yellow brick road. They have these like maybe you've seen this before in stadiums, but they had like arrows and markers that you just follow all the way. So like if you want to go to the press box, there was a line that said press box and it was like a green line and it went all the way around in the basement of the stadium. So and it took you all the way to the elevator that takes you straight up. So that was helpful for this old guy who, was nervous
Wow.
getting
I
there.
love how the team figures, media members aren't that bright. I mean, come on.
Well, I'm
You
I'm
can't
a I'm
you
example A right here,
you
folks.
you can't make this crap up. That's fantastic. And guess what? The Cleveland media, they're not that bright.
Well,
But
and
anyway,
Steve, you'll be also helpful like
you're probably
this.
the smartest one in the room,
Tony
John.
Grossi. Well, I thought I did pretty good considering like, I've never done this before. I knew like when I got in the locker room, which was totally over the top crazy. The first people, Sam, that I run into, like I'm like there are players walking out, like Wyatt Teller walked out right in front of me, like out into the main part outside of the locker area. I get into the locker room and there's all dozens of these players. Joe Flacco is coming right at me. I mean, literally, I could have given him a high five. And Shador Sanders is walking right behind them with he just put his hoodie over his head, and they were walking kind of out. So, but anyway, it was a lot of fun. So, all right, so back to this game. I mean, I want to kind of transition to what we've seen this week and the hype and getting a big win like that. Does this, we were talking about, is this team going to win a game now? And I think I heard you, Steve, talk a little bit about this on your show. You were hoping to get to 2-4, thinking that
After
that would,
6, yeah.
yeah. And so now you're 1-2, and we're going into Detroit. Let me just give these details to Sam. And if you want to talk first on this, Sam, maybe with Detroit. Um, Detroit, we haven't beaten Detroit in Detroit since 1983,
Correct.
and we just don't have a lot of luck. Tony Grossi said, who was in the locker room, and I stood right next to him, Steven. I just wanted to say something to him. And I didn't see Mary Kay, by the way, but your favorite. That 1983 was the last time we beat the Lions. The Lions are favored. Obviously, we're going home. The Lions just picked up a big win against the Ratbirds, though it was tied, and it could have probably gone either way, I think, in that game the other night. They talked a little bit about the Lions having a really good run game and doing a lot of short passes. What are you do you think, and you kind of touched on this earlier, Sam, do you think the Browns have an opportunity for another win? And does it mean that the defense has to play out of their mind again?
Oof, I really don't know. I mean, I came into this Packers game thinking they were going to lose, so I don't know. I think this will definitely be the first real test, not first, but like one of the real tests for this Browns defense on if they're going to be elite this year is how they do against this Lions offense, because while they aren't well, the Lions offense isn't, I think the last year's Lions offense was better, but this is still a really good offense. So
Mhm.
this will be one of their best tests that, looking back on it in week 18, you can point to this game as being the game that defined them, one of the games, I guess, that defined them as an
Mhm.
elite defense instead of just a great defense. And so I think the defense definitely needs a good game this week to keep the Browns in it.
Mhm.
But I think this team, coming off of a win like what they just had, will be very energized and very ready to try to bring their A game and try and maybe snag another victory from the NFC North up there.
What's interested me, Steve, and I want to touch on this with you because we talk about the locker room and everything. Couple things, observations I saw personally when I was in there, and also observations I saw afterwards. I saw some video of Coach Stefanski coming through the tunnel, giving a huge high five and bear hug to Andrew Barry. And then his speech in the locker room, I didn't catch. I mean, I saw it afterwards, was very emotional. Jimmy Haslam was right there. But when I got in there to the locker room, it was mostly the defensive players, and I followed where the cameras were and different things like that. They were, obviously it's a win. They were very positive, but just listening to some of these veteran players like Shelby Harris, even like the Nico Collins guy, and then going over and listening to Grant Delpit, you just, it was a really good vibe, and they're very confident. And obviously, you should be. You're an NFL player, but getting a big win like that, it definitely it interests me as a fan and as somebody who reports on this stuff. You definitely got a sense that these guys are not like a broken. It is a pretty solid locker room, and I know I've kind of questioned that sometimes, but certainly after a win, it's better. But what are your thoughts on all of that, and where you think that is with the locker room and this defense, and what, like Sam was touching on, what your expectations are going into Detroit?
Well, the Detroit offensive coordinator didn't help any matters today with his quote saying, basically, they ain't seen, yeah, they're good at run defense, but they haven't seen us yet. Well, okay, fine. You know, sure. I mean, Josh Jacobs, who killed the Browns in previous games,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the Raiders, he averaged 1.9 yards a carry
Mm.
against the Browns. Okay, and they are limiting opposition running backs to 2.2 yards a carry for the
Mm.
season. So I would imagine the defense is really pumped. they kept him in that game for 56 minutes.
Hmm.
And then finally,
Hmm.
Jordan Love finally threw an interception, which he hadn't done for 9 straight regular season games.
What did you think about
And
that? Can I just interrupt you real quick?
oh,
In that
that was
that play, third and
Jim
three.
Schwartz dialed that up perfect. I mean, he shifted both safeties over to that side and kind of
Mhm.
overloaded it,
Yeah,
and it worked perfect.
but
That
they
was
didn't run the
one.
ball. There's been criticism in Green Bay that they should have run the ball there and run the clock more.
Well, there should be a lot of criticism. I mean, and coming down to the end of the third quarter, you're on 3rd and 1. All you got to do is let the clock run out, and you run 3rd and 1. What does their brilliant head coach do? He makes them snap the
I
ball,
heard you
and
talk about that, but
Swessinger
are
gets
you
the
sure?
sack.
I wanted to go back and see that myself because I seem to recall, and I'm probably wrong on this, Stephen. You're probably right. I just that possession, that last play, I thought because I had the guys behind me running the clock, and I thought that he had to run a play, but
No, he
you
didn't.
he did not.
He didn't
Okay,
have to run a play,
okay, that
and
makes
that's
sense too.
what the announcers were just going
Baffled
crazy over.
by
Why would
Carson
you do
Schwessinger, my
that?
God, what do you guys think of like
He's a
the B
monster.
that beeline, the 20 yards he ran to knock him silly? That got some oohs and ahs from the press box. That's how you knew it was a big hit because it was so quiet in there and you heard people go kind of like, ooh, you know. So
But
anyhow,
to Sam's point, I mean, the Lions are the number 3 offense in the league right now. The Browns are number 1. So it's best against best.
mm,
They do run the ball well. Their quarterback, Jared Goff, has had back to back games of QBR over 100. But then in those games, he's been clean. Baltimore did not sack him once.
mm,
So when he comes clean, and I read a stat that when he is not pressured, he has the number 2 QBR in the league. When pressure, he's
mm.
got the 26th
Okay.
QBR in the league.
So how do we do
So
what do we do with our defense?
they pressure up the middle. The center and the 2 guards aren't that experienced.
Hmm.
So you're going to see, and it all depends on Mike Hall. I don't know if he's going to play a lot.
Yeah.
I know everybody practiced today, but I wouldn't take any snaps away from Aiden Huntington. None. None. Mason Graham, and Malik Collins should have a hell of a
Malik
game
Collins. I
there.
was calling him Nico,
And
but
if
it's Malik. That's
and
right.
if I'm Jim Schwartz, I line up Myles Garrett right over that center.
Mm,
You know, just bring it.
mm,
So if they can get pressure on Goff, and I mean they sacked Jordan Love 5 times out of 25 pass attempts
yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can race, they can get some havoc going on the defense. Offensively, Detroit looked like they were on a mission against Baltimore, but surprisingly, they have the worst win pressure rate in the NFL. Their defensive line. I
Oh.
read that today. Matter of fact, I'll have an article out tomorrow, my preview article, and that's in there. And also, they had trouble containing Ravens tight end Mark Edwards.
Yeah.
He got 2 touchdown passes, and Lamar Jackson passed for 288 yards and 3 touchdowns against them.
Well, thank you to
So,
Lamar Jackson. He helped me win my fantasy league game this
so
past week.
they pay a lot of man coverage, and they've got a cornerback. Their safeties are fantastic, but their corners are suspect, especially Taron Arnold.
Okay.
He has been used and abused by a lot of teams this year. So if you can get a couple deep ones with Isaiah Bond or Tillman,
Yeah.
that'll take the pressure off Jerry Jeudy, and definitely use both the tight ends, Njoku and Fannin.
Okay.
But Brown's got to protect Flacco, and that's where it all comes down to, and it all comes down to the tackles. Jack Conklin practiced today. I've heard he probably isn't going to play, but the practice I've seen,
Yeah.
he was in the 3-point stance and he was putting pressure on his elbow. So we'll have to wait and see. If he
Okay.
could play, you put Lucas at left tackle, and
Yeah.
you just hope to God nobody gets hurt, because their backup tackles are not not that good. I mean, Andrew Berry is trying to trade for a tackle. He is working the trade wire. I even heard they might put Tevin Jenkins at left tackle because
Oh,
he played
really?
that last year
Wow.
with his last team. So I don't know if he practiced at left tackle, but they got to fix the tackle spot.
Okay.
I mean, they got some experienced guys, so as backups, but
Okay.
none of them are the greatest things in the world. So that's where, and they got to run the ball. If Quinshawn Junkins can just keep following Joel Patonio, it'll be a long day for the Detroit defense.
I want to talk more about Quinshawn Junkins here. Let's pause for a quick commercial break. This is the Fanatical Elves show. We'll be right back. And thank you for joining us here on the Fanatical Elves show. It's a Thursday night, September 25th. And I got Sam Britton and Steve Gill in house. I'm John Suchan. So I want to talk about Quinshawn Junkins. Sam, let's start with you a little bit about Steve touched on it a little bit with this new inspiring running back and run game. Now, we didn't see a lot of Dylan Sampson. I expect we'll see a little bit more of him. We were on turf. What are your thoughts on Quinshawn Junkins, Sam? I mean, obviously, he looked good, and especially those two runs, he looked determined. And what I like too about his energy off the field too, he was bringing it. Like there's some video of him really trying to pump up the sideline and talking about winning the game. And we're going to win this. Sam, what are your thoughts about Quinshawn and what he's
I mean,
bringing?
he
to
looks
the
pretty
team?
good. I said in my my podcast yesterday, I think he could be a top 10 running back, top 12 in the
Mm.
next year or two. I think he could be 10, 9, 8-ish on the rankings. Is he going to be the next Nick Chubb? Probably not. That's a pretty high bar to set. But is he going to be a good running back who you can rely on for the next 2 to 3 years? Yeah. I think he's going to be a good power back. I think he's going to be a good guy who you can just give the rock 3rd and 3 and he can get you those 3 yards pretty consistently. And I think that's a very crucial part of football that is overlooked, is that down and dirty in the trenches, you just got to get 2 yards type of play where it's too risky to throw the ball, but running it is but you need a good running back who can get you those 2 hard yards. And I think he can be that for you. I think he'll be a great running back in the next few years for you and your team.
When I watched him, Sam, on those 2 runs from where I was, the second one where he burst out and he went for 38 yards, for a split second, I thought he was going to take it to the house. And then I was a little surprised that he didn't. But then looking back at the replay on video, the 2 guys that were chasing him had a pretty good angle. They were already kind of like 3 or 4 yards up on him. So it didn't surprise me as much when I watched it on the TV. But initially, man, when he came through that gap, I was like, oh man, he could take it. But I certainly like his prospects. Steve, what are you thinking about? I mean, do you see what Sam's saying? Do you think we're going to get 2 or 3 years or even more from this guy,
Oh yeah.
barring injury?
Everybody hyped this draft class at running back position. You could find a good running back anywhere. Well, so far he's been the best rookie after 3 games,
Yeah, 100
and
and
he's only played 1.5
yeah,
technically.
I saw the
Um,
stats earlier in the week, and I
yeah.
told Lou that he's got 155 yards, and our good buddy Nick Chubb only has like 143 through 3 games. So okay, back to you.
So and that's what they drafted him for. They'd like to get him. I've been told they like to get him at least 22 carries a game.
Mm.
That's what they're shooting for. So that tells me he's going to be your bell cow back. I would like to see Dylan Sampson a little bit more this week. I think with the aggressiveness of the Lions defensive line, this would be a very nice game for him to take a few screen passes and open up that offense a little bit and get those defensive linemen off Joe Flacco's back. So we'll see what happens.
What about okay, going back to the let's talk about wide receivers just for a quick second. Sam, back to you on the wide receiver room for the Brownies. We saw Cedric Tillman get a nice catch early on in the game. Jerry Judy had one catch. There's been some people out there. I haven't seen Jamari thrash very much, but we've got also the two tight ends and David Njoku who caught a ginormous pass, and then the new kid Harold Fannin. Are you concerned about our pass game, or is that more based on what Steve was kind of alluding to as far as we got to have the run game, really establish that to then.
Yeah, I mean, they always say use the run to set up the pass. It makes sense, right? You run the ball, the offense shifts their linebackers to the defensive line. They don't have anyone over the middle. You get 12 yards on a catch, right? That's what they do. That's basic NFL scheming, and it's a lot more complicated than that in a full scale, full speed NFL game, obviously. But the
Mhm.
core component still remains the same. And so, yeah, if you have a threat on the running back side, I mean, it works for the Eagles all the time, right? They run with
Yeah.
Saquon, and then they have wide open receivers because everyone's
Mhm.
working on Saquon. And so it definitely is important. I think
Mhm.
Flacco hasn't been great, and I think that's obviously a cause for these receivers not being as good as I think they could be. Is the quarterback just isn't producing as much as you'd want.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think having a solid running back, if you have this kind of guy who people will start treating as a threat and not as just someone new, you definitely will see receivers open up more. You'll see plays work better. You'll see schemes working better. I think it'll definitely change the way the offense looks, assuming these defenses start treating our running backs as a threat.
Steve, you alluded to it, and also Sam just touched on it too, because there was an early play in the game, and Steve, you mentioned in your podcast, I watched it live, and I remember in the press box, Isaiah Bond was wide open on a play
Wide
early
open.
in the game, and I was in the press box, and I had to keep my emotions, but I was like the guy was like, dude, he was wide open, like where, like
Yeah, and Flacco checked down to somebody
yes, he
else. I mean, he
did,
still got positive yardage, but yeah, Joe Flacco knows that right now his offensive tackles aren't the greatest in the world. I mean, at least the interior of the offensive line had their best game out of the three they played this past week, which is very, very, which is nice to see.
yeah,
But yeah, um, he's he left some plays on the field, and he even admitted it.
yeah,
So they just he's not comfortable. He did not look comfortable. I mean, to me, I don't know. He spent all that time trying to get everybody where they were supposed to be because
yeah,
you could really hear it on the TV
hmm
broadcast. I
yeah.
mean, literally clear as day. Get up to the line of scrimmage. Somebody's running in motion. Stop, 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 stop.
Uh-huh.
Telling the running back, over here, over here, over here. I mean, constantly the entire game. Uh,
Yeah.
let's and I realize we've got some young players who just started playing. I mean,
Yeah.
Isaiah Bond was signed right before Bengals. Quinshawn came in in week two. So I just hope that their offensive game plan is to get Joe Flacco as comfortable as possible, get the running game going. Running game works, play action works. Play action works, somebody can get open. Somebody gets open short yardage,
Okay.
somebody will get open on long passes.
Yeah.
That's just
Fun.
like Sam said, that's
Yeah.
just basic NFL offense.
The final thing I wanted to ask you guys about with the Browns coming up here. Now we got a win that we weren't expecting. We're 1-2. We're going to Detroit, and we have Detroit, and then we go overseas across the pond to play the Vikings, and then
8:30 in the morning.
come
Sam
back
and
to
I
play
will be
Pittsburgh.
up before 8:30 in the morning
Yes.
Central Time.
So, I guess just Sam, I want to hear from you first. Do you think like has your perspective on things? I guess I thought of you, Sam, too, with this whole thing with the Browns beating Green Bay, because Sam has said this many times, and I think it's very accurate when he talks about the NFL. The NFL is like I think the word it's just unpredictable. You don't know. All these teams are can win. They're all NFL players, and on any given Sunday, these teams can win. So, Sam, has your perspective on what's going to coming down the line change for the Browns? And are you expecting for more unexpected results with the Browns, at least for the next 3 to 4 games? And then I have a follow up
Yeah.
question to both of you on that, but let's start with that.
I definitely think there's an inherent unpredictability just in sports in general. I think football especially has that. It's more pronounced because if you look at college football, right, you see upsets, number 2 team in the nation losing to some unranked team of just people that you never expect. And so it is hard to predict more than at least a week out. You can sort of gauge what's going to happen a single week out barely, but anything further it's just too hard. But I still don't trust this team.
Mhm.
I don't. It looks like a good team defensively, but I feel like this. I said in my podcast yesterday, I think this offense is going to lose us 5 or 6 games this year, right? Like,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they are. Now, I don't blame them for losing the Bengals game, but they lost us
Mhm.
that Ravens game. I mean, the offense had opportunities on opportunities
Mhm.
to tie up and lead the game, and they could never get it done.
Mhm.
And I think that's going to happen a few more times this year. I think this defense, though, will win you games. I mean, they already won us the Packers game. I think they beat the defense won you the Bengals game. You just the field
Mhm.
goals just didn't go out in your favor.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think this defense is going to win you 6 games, and I think this offense is going to lose you 6 games. I mean, it sucks to say, but I think it's going to be the number one offense or number one defense. I mean, and like the 26th best offense. It's going to be such a huge difference. But if I think this offense has potential to work something out. I just think quarterback is going to be your main hindrance point
Well, that's what I want to
for
finish
the
with.
rest of the year.
Yeah, I want to talk about that lastly. But Steve, what are your observations on what just happened and your expectations going over the next 3 or 4 weeks?
If the defense keeps playing like they're playing, they can get an average offense. I mean, let's get over the 20-point hump. How about that? Get over that 20-point hump, and I guarantee you they'll feel a lot better. And if special teams can just improve a little bit, they had a very good game against Green Bay. I didn't like that last kickoff after the touchdown. I
Mm.
mean, Green Bay set up on the 40-yard line
Right.
with less than 3 minutes left in the game. That did not make me happy at all. But if the special teams can step it up a notch and they can just get average offense, get over that 20-point hump, I think they can win some games. I don't know where, but this defense, like Sam said, this defense will win them games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it won them this game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
All right. Let
56
me.
minutes. It was a
So.
snooze fest for the
Oh yeah.
Browns offense. It was tough to watch. But yeah, I think they just need to get more comfortable on offense. That's all it is. And unfortunately, it seems like every week they're playing the new best team in the league. I mean, Baltimore, best team in the league. Lost, but they still scored 40. Green Bay,
Yeah.
best team in the league. You know,
Well, and the Vikings just
and,
got a big win over the Bengals, and they had outstanding defense from
oh, the
them. So now people.
Bengals are just pitiful right now. They are. They are.
Let me follow up this question, Steven. You can, and then I want to get Sam's. But okay, so they could get some wins, but we also hear people still talking about this transition from Joe Flacco
That's
to one of
false.
the rookies.
No one knows what their plan is.
Right.
Everybody's
I
saying,
guess
well,
it's
after 6 games, they'll put
yeah,
Dylan Gabriel in. No, nobody knows what their plan. I can
yeah,
tell you what I do know,
yeah,
that if Joe Flacco gets worse, they're going to speed up the plan. That's
yes,
that's what my guy told me.
yeah.
So
So what you?
yeah,
I thought you said on your show. I was here. Maybe I'm wrong, but I was trying to remember what you said on your show. I thought you said something like, you thought maybe they would put him in, or Dylan Gabriel by, maybe that was somebody else by week 9 or 10,
I
based
don't
on
know when they're going to put him in. I mean,
yeah,
if all of a sudden Flacco looks like he did against the Bengals, because he
yeah,
had a good game against the Bengals.
yeah,
I mean, if
yeah,
he looks like that against the Lions, then
hmm
why bother?
yeah.
Um, but we'll have to wait and see. But they
Okay.
do have a definite plan, but nobody knows what it is. And if somebody tells you they know what their plan is, they're lying to you.
Sam, let me ask you that same question, and then the follow up to that question. I heard Deion Sanders this week talking about his son Shador. He guaranteed basically that Shador was going to be playing it. He predicts he knows when that's going to be. Do you see that happening? And do you also, I mean, obviously Dylan Gabriel's probably in line to start. Do you have any predictions there, or you agree with Steve?
I said if you before the season started, I think week 13, week 14, I wouldn't at that moment wouldn't have been surprised if Shooter was starting. But
Mm.
again, I didn't expect this defense to be the best in the league, right? I thought they would be okay. I didn't
Well, that's
expect
a
them to
good
be the best
observation.
in the
That's a
league.
very good point because
And so I didn't
yeah,
expect this offense to be kind of iffy, but good enough that Flacco's kind of still here, right? I wasn't totally sure, but I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if Flacco stays where he is, he'll stay for the rest of the season. I don't think he's bad enough to bench yet, but I mean, if he gets any worse, you got to start considering because it's a bar, right? And as it progressively gets lower, you have
mm,
to assume, okay, maybe this guy can hit that point or be better. And so if the bar gets too low, you swap him
mm,
out. And I think Flacco has to be careful because if he does get much worse, his job will definitely be in question.
yeah.
I wouldn't make a prediction, but I think it's going to be six six more weeks before there's
Well,
any
the other
serious conversation of
we're
Flacco being
we're
benched.
three games in, and just his track record. If you go back and look over the last 5 or 6 seasons, he doesn't make it past 7 or 8 weeks. He just hasn't. If you look, his. I mean, obviously things can change in a pattern, but I don't see that not changing. I think it's where they're going to stick that 8 or 9 week window. But like Steve, you're saying, like if he's still showing. And then with this good defense, maybe that pattern is broken this year.
But
And,
what people have to realize, the last 2 weeks, the Browns have played against two very good defenses.
yes, they're going to
And
go up against another one
next
this week.
next the Lions, and then you got the Vikings, who is a damn good defense.
Yes.
Pittsburgh always plays damn good defense, although they're looking a little old. I watched a little of their game against the Patriots.
Okay.
Um, and so let's all just remember that. Do
Yeah.
you really want a
Yeah.
rookie going out there against these top 10 type defenses?
Sure.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
So,
I
I
think if
think
it
a
had
lot.
gotten away, if that game last Sunday had gotten away a little bit more, like if they went up 17-0, maybe I would have given Flacco one more series, and then I would have just put Dylan in for the rest of the game because they weren't moving the ball, they weren't doing anything really for a good portion of that game. But that didn't happen. Everything changed. And so um, I cut
Yeah.
you off, Steve.
And the reason it changed because defense kept them in it. They didn't score 17. They were lucky to get that 10.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's
What
like
do you
Sam
think about
says.
the chop block thing? We got Dewan Jones got injured,
Uh,
and then
that
we
was
were called.
borderline. It
Yeah,
it really wasn't a penalty. Um, the where he hit him, where a lot of people will think it was, but I've heard people say no, it really wasn't a
yeah, I've
penalty.
watched it.
So
Yeah, too. What about our penalty? That a high low? We got penalized that one time where we had to settle
oh,
for the
the
field goal.
Wyatt
Yeah.
that comedy of errors down
Oh,
there, but
we
by
we're
both teams.
yes,
I mean, Green Bay kept committing pass interference in the end
yes,
zone.
yes.
I mean, that was ridiculous. That was
Yeah.
just like,
Oh, it
you
was
know,
it was getting some commentary, especially the guys that were doing the play clock right behind me. They were we were all
that
kind of
must have been very hard to keep track of. I kept looking at the game clock, going, guys, can we get some points sometime in the
yeah.
next 2 or 3 minutes?
Do you guys remember at the very beginning of the game, Dwan Jones got injured, and then there was another injury by the Green Bay team, like the next series, and the guys in the press box behind me, because they were helping out with the clock, but also like with the TV timeouts, and so they were like, "This is going to be the longest first quarter ever." Like, I think we were at like the 11-minute mark, and it was like everything sped up after that, but it was that first 20 minutes of the game seemed like it took forever. So
It
Yeah.
could be worse. It could be that Steelers game where we replayed the second. What quarter did we play again? Because we went back. It ended, and then it was the one I think Nick Chubb got hurt in, right?
Yeah, it
oh
was
Where we
in
played, and then the
23.
quarter
I
ended.
remember that. It was a
Yeah, and then the
prime
quarter
time
ended, and
game.
we went back into the quarter. Yeah, that game was
Yeah, I was like,
insane. Where
I
we
was
spent like
why was
just
that?
getting.
Why was that?
Oh, I can't remember,
I
but
don't remember. Yeah, I think it
it
was
was
like
ridiculous.
a penalty or something, and so the quarter ended, but the play still was live or something. I don't remember. But yeah, it was like 20 minutes for like 3 minutes of game time.
That reminds me of the bottle gate where the Browns were already run the next play, and then NFL decides, no, we're going to look at that play. This is years ago. Remember that, Steve? Yeah.
I was watching it in a bar.
Oh, man. So final take, Sam. Let's start with you. Final thoughts on this week. What you're looking forward to, what you're excited about with this Browns team. I mean, they got to win, damn it. It's like, my God, they beat the Green Bay Packers. I mean, it's just wonderful. I mean, if you're a Browns fan, you've been on cloud nine. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this as you're 4 games in, you win this, you're 500, right? I mean, you're even, and you're honestly, if you win this game, you're not in a bad place whatsoever.
No.
If realistically you're 3-1 if you hit those kicks and bet in Cincinnati. I know the players aren't thinking about that. That's way behind them. They don't care about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're 3-1 in a universe that is very realistic to yours, and the Ravens game. It's kind of hard to tell if your offense could have performed. Maybe you would have won. It's too far out to be predictable. But yeah, I mean, this team looks like if the offense can just improve by a little bit and be like the 16th, 17th best offense, this defense and this offense together will because all you have to do is score 21 points and you're probably going to win because your defense is going to hold them to 17. And sure, you'll still lose a game here and there, and that's normal. That's the NFL. But yeah, I think if this offense can just find a little bit of pace and bring themselves from 26 to 18, I think this team will definitely be 10 wins, maybe if they could consistently do that over a year. I think 10 wins wouldn't be unrealistic. Any higher, you're maybe even looking at 11. But this offense needs to figure itself out before you can do anything.
I think I have a bet that the Browns are going to win 8 games or more. I think that puts a little bit of money on that. So still in play. And I don't know if I'm going to win that bet with you, Steve, with Nick Chubb. We'll see. It's not looking good for me right now.
Well, that's
Okay.
because Houston's offense is putrid
Yeah.
right now.
What has
I
happened
mean,
to CJ Stroud?
Houston's offense is terrible. The Titans' offense, they were booing their head coach off the field at halftime
They
in Nashville. Oh, yeah.
really?
I don't know what their expectations was. I
Yeah.
mean, we're going into this season. A rookie quarterback is starting, but they were, Titans fans are sometimes mostly delusional at times. I mean, they've actually started a petition to keep Nissan Stadium, the stadium they're playing in now, build the new stadium, let the Titans play in the old stadium, and bring in another NFL team to play in the new stadium.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Who does that? But my
That's
final
just
thoughts on this,
far out.
just like Green Bay, something weird's going to have to happen for their win. Like you pointed out, it's
Mhm.
been 1983 since they've won in Detroit. Detroit has won 19 out of the last 21 meetings
Yeah.
with the Browns. So,
It's just
but
that's bizarre, right? I mean, you
that
think
is
about
bizarre.
the history of the
But
Lions, they suck.
these two teams
So,
met in the championship game like 3 years in a row.
yes. Now that's back in
So
the day. Yeah.
yeah, but the one positive is this defense is spectacular. It's elite. If you still think the Browns are going to only win 3 games, you have not been watching this defense.
Mhm.
They take them out of that category. And the other thing is Detroit's on a short week.
Yeah.
They had travel back from Baltimore. That kind of shortens their weekly routine.
Mhm.
So that may help the Browns.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm just looking forward to watching the rookies, both offense and
Mhm.
defense. Did you know through 3 weeks, uh, the rookies on offense have attributed to 50.3% of the offensive yardage by the Browns?
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I like
Yeah.
the defensive efforts too by Carson Schwarzenegger, Mason Graham.
Oh, my God.
Very good.
I mean, and don't forget my man, Aiden Huntington.
Yes.
He's everywhere. Fullback, special teams, defensive tackle.
Very good stuff. Very good stuff. No,
Yeah.
it should be a fun. I mean, we'll have some pregame show. I'm not sure. We'll talk about that off air, but we will be providing some pregame. We'll have some postgame reactions to the contest. I'm still got my Johnny Cleveland podcast coming up later this week before the big game on Sunday, so we'll be doing that. We appreciate you all coming aboard here on the Fanatical Elves Network. You could listen to other folks, and you probably do, but we appreciate that you listen to us as well. We're building our fan base every time I'm out and about. I talk to my different colleagues and even some of my students over at Licking Heights, and they have more interest and they're sharing our. If you like the Browns, you love the Browns, tune in to us, Steve Gill, Sam Britton, John Suchan. We're just fans just like you, and we've brought on Steve Hemrick. Steve, I probably chopped your last name up, but we've got a lot of other great shows out there. Rod Bloom just had the Browns Blitz. We got Ethan Greenberg just doing Nuclear. Who am I missing? What the elf was that with Joel? And then we got Jarrell with his Dog Food Radio, and then Stirring the Pot with Lou Marconi. Lou Marconi also does Burning River Browns Talk, which will be coming on tomorrow night. So tune in for that. Everybody, go Browns. Steve, have a good night. Sam, have a good evening. We'll see
Basically
you.
night now. It's 8:30.
You'll see you
Yeah,
on the.
it's 8:30.
I gotta
Let the
find
dog
some
out. I
fancy
gotta take
dancy.
the dog out.
Let me
Who
find my
let the
fancy
dog
dancing.
out?
Who's
B.
letting the dog out?
B.
Let's try this one and see what this one says. Bye. Maybe.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Yeah, go Browns.
Beat Detroit.